What about my love? Wasn't it enough? Just let me know.
Answer Damien's question real quick before we move on. Question: if the 12-team playoff works out good, do y'all think it could go to 15, or would it be too much? They've already said it's going to go up to 16 teams.
16. They've already established, agreed
It's
to that.
It's in 3 years, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
Which to me is crazy. You don't even know what the 12-team playoff is actually going to look like. You don't know how it's going to go, and you've already agreed to expand it.
When I saw that, I was like, "What?"
You go to a super conference, it makes everything complicated. It would make sense if you had, because I believed in the 12-team playoff. I already said that, or I'm sorry, 16-team playoff if we had the conferences the way that we did. Because I said you could take every single conference winner and every single runner-up, include the ones in the group of 5. Give the top 2 seeded teams a bye, you know what I'm saying, and have everybody else play, and then it would have been awesome that way. And of course, the group of 5 schools, they had the lowest seeds out of everybody. It just is what it is. But that would have made it interesting because nobody could cry about it, and it gave everybody a reason to be the best team in their conference.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're not gonna.
No,
but the teams that are higher seeded too get the home field advantage as well. If you're a conference winner, you get home field advantage.
I like how the 12-team is too.
At the college. Woo!
I'll say this. The 12-team actually made the New Year's Six Bowls actually valuable. And that's what I love. Because you don't got people, you're not going to have now this year a Clemson FSU thing with the 12-team playoffs. That was the best thing for the New Year's Six Bowls. Was that 12-team playoff, because before it was only 2 of the New Year's Sixes.
I think the 12-team playoff happened. The 12-team playoff happened a little late.
Oh yeah, 100% it did. It should have
been. It was
last year. Last year would have been the year to do it.
Yep, I know.
And we got cheated.
Hey, just move it up a year. Come on.
They should have gotten a room and been like, you know what? How great would it have been if the NCAA had a hold for just a week and been like, you know what, this is gonna screw up everything, but there's too much controversy right now. It's hard to make a decision on what is fair. You got Florida State, you got Georgia. Oregon, you got all these other teams that played so well all season, and now we got to just have 4. Georgia.
Ohio State, Missouri. I would have loved to have seen Missouri in the playoffs.
Missouri?
There's so at least 6.
It would have been dope if they would have did that. Be like, you know what? 16-team playoff in it right now.
Because it's 16.
Everybody would have been like, oh my God.
Especially whenever you announce that those games before, that the first round of games are going to be held on college campuses. Imagine you hear, oh man, in 2 weeks, my favorite team is hosting a playoff game at our home stadium. Obviously we have time to prepare.
This year is going to be This year is going to be huge, man. Just for that fact alone. That teams get home field advantage at their stadium.
Can you imagine a playoff game in Baton Rouge?
In Baton Rouge?
No, could you imagine
Rocky Top from Tennessee?
Oh my
if they
gosh.
made it.
Look, no, I'm gonna tell
traditions.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you an underrated one. And this is an underrated team when we talk about the Big Ten. I've already been talking about them.
Oh,
Nebraska's sold out. How many games? 240 home games? Imagine a playoff game in Nebraska.
Oh,
man.
That'll be the best thing for that.
That'll be the quietest city to drive around in while that fucking game is going on. Nobody's going to have their lights on. It's going to be darkness, and then the stadium
Penn State only got 1 game. That's really
people going to be camping outside the stadium to watch, just to hear it.
I'd rather see Nebraska than Penn State.
Dana says at 16 teams, you're already going to have to cut down regular seasons, players' health, right? I don't think they care about it because they've been talking about expanding more games and taking away a bye week because they got 3. So
yeah,
thinking about just taking away one and then substituting that in. I mean, it's hard to tell the players that oh, you get to play an extra game. If we take away the bye week, you think they're going to say no?
Look,
this is just saving the player from themselves.
I realize they're kids compared to professionals, but I mean, let's just assume you play every single game you can, you make it to the Super Bowl in an NFL season, right? And you don't whether you have a first round bye or not, you're playing 20 games a season now, right? So and you compare it to the college game, you only have 12, maybe 13 if you have a Hawaii game in there, right? In a regular season, and then you have a conference championship game, so that's 13 or 14. And even in a 16-team playoff, you're still not even coming close to an NFL length of a season. So, and again, I realize they're kids, they're younger. Maybe we shouldn't subject them to as many games, but I don't think it's that outlandish personally.
No, it's not. And I'm sorry, the bias is coming out. Manny, before you say anything, we play Nebraska way more. We have a bigger rivalry with Nebraska way more, might I add, sir. So before you bring in bias, nice try. And before you say two fans, sir, you have not been to Wisconsin where we absolutely sell out. Our stadiums look empty because our student section is tailgating for the first half, basically, and then they come in and they're loud. So before you say anything, nice try.
But if Wisconsin was a top tier team, that place would be fucking rocking.
It is loud.
Madison, Wisconsin is nowhere to fuck around when they're winning.
Look at 2011, Ohio State. That was the loudest that stadium has, one of the loudest that stadiums have ever been. And number one, Ohio State, it did not have a good time versus us, might I add. And something else too, sir, it is reported that when that stadium is sold out and Jump Around comes out, you could feel the vibration 5 blocks away from the stadium.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I don't know about that, Hayden. You might be going a little bit too far, but I will say that
I haven't experienced it because I don't live in Madison, but still, I'm going off of reports of what locals have said.